Hello and welcome to another Win Daily Sports Show. My name is Mike Brazil. I got my man Keith Kavanaugh Jr. here with me, and we are checking out the NHL Slate tonight, seeing what we're betting, how we're making money. Keith is hot as shit, folks, so please pay attention to what this man is putting down. Keith, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We had a nice little night last night. A couple winners. The NHL slate. We're about mid-season now, so it's getting ready to see gearing towards playoffs. We could even take a look at some long shots, some futures on the cup. But yeah, it's exciting. The teams are pretty much what they are. So unfortunately, Vegas is starting to get pretty good at pricing the lines. But we're searching for some value out here.
Well, I'm hoping. When is the NHL trade deadline? It's coming up soon, right?
Yeah, it's April 12th, but this year there's definitely gonna be less activity than normal for a couple reasons. One, because Canada has the 2-week quarantine, so essentially a contender. Most teams that are at the trade deadline are trying to get good players, but then they're also subtracting off their roster. So essentially, they're taken away from their roster, and they're not going to be able to have that addition for 2 weeks. And just the business of COVID too. There's a lot of teams pressed up against the cap, so there's not a lot of money to be moving around. The trades have to balance on the money side.
Damn. Yeah, that stinks. There was a couple years ago where like everybody got traded to the Blue Jackets, which was awesome. And that was
Yeah.
fantastic. They ended up losing, so whatever. But it was still a lot of fun. How everybody loves a good trade deadline. NFL trade deadline sucks. The rest of them are usually pretty great. So I was kind of hoping, but I guess I knew that Canada had that 2-week thing, but it makes sense. I didn't like put two and two together. So that stinks. But hey, we're still here for it. As you said, we got plays. We know what we're doing at this point. Vegas is having some fun with us, but we're also having some fun with them. Keith has been, as I said, just red hot this year. And today's slate it's a little weird. We have a 7, a 7:30, a 9, and then 3 10 o'clock games. So I'm kind of curious, right? I know you got 2 picks. I already put them in. Very excited to win more money. We had 2 last night. Well, we had Wild -1.5. It was sweaty for a little bit, but then that third period, they opened it up, made it real nice and easy. So I wasn't too worried. And then we had Lightning money line, and they were up 3-1. And then all of a sudden it was 3-3. And then I'm sitting in my bed looking at the ESPN app, waiting to see. And they end up scoring in that shootout. We win. I take that to the bank and I call it a good day. What are you looking at today? What are some of the things that, when you look at your model, just a couple things that jump out to you right off the page?
Yeah, well, first off, I want to talk about last night a little
Yeah.
bit. The Lightning that looked like looked like we were great.
Mm-hmm.
We got some good value on the Lightning too because they lost the day before, so that -150 price was pretty solid. And then they were up 3-1 with 2 minutes left. The Stars put in a couple real quick, and I was like, oh, here we go. Then we get to the shootout, and they had some kid. The Stars did at first who put one in, and then I was like, oh, it's over. And then the Lightning just took over. Another kid on their side, Susie, had the sick move, put it short side on the goalie, and then we were good from there. And then similar with the Wild, the Coyotes they're a train wreck this year. Honestly, they have a lot of off ice distractions, really working against them this year. So I kind of enjoy betting against the Coyotes. They're a team to fade, if you will.
And wait, before we do move on, I think we do have to say just like RIP to the Sabres at this point. The Sabres in a GIF that was going around last night. If you saw, one of the Sabres shot the puck and hit Taylor Hall, another Sabre, in the face. Jack Eichel is pretty much just out for the foreseeable future. That's the last I heard. They just fired their coach. And I don't remember. The last couple games weren't in this, but the stat that I heard earlier this week that they were 0-9-2 in their last 11 and outscored 47-7 with, I want to say, 4 shutouts. So just want to give a nice RIP to Sabres and Sabres fans. So
I'm pretty sure they have as many wins this season as shutouts against them.
Holy shit, that's
a tough look. But yeah, 12 game losing streak just canned their coach.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bad in Buffalo, but the worst part about it too is every year they have this optimism where they think, all right, this is our year. We're going to turn it around a little
Jack
bit.
Eichel and Taylor Hall, come on, man. How can you not score goals? Turns out they can't score goals.
They really can't. They're actually one of the worst teams at just generating expected goals this year and putting them in the net. It's bad.
It's not great. Anyway, let's move on to tonight, though. Positivity. We're looking to win more bets. We're excited for it. A couple things. Again, we have a couple picks, so we'll get to them a little bit later. But what are some of the things that jumped out to you when just kind of this morning when you're drinking your coffee, digesting your breakfast, looking at the model? What's coming up to you?
Yep. Yeah. So that's what we do in the morning. We kind of get ready, get situated on the day. We saw 6 games on the slate, as Michael mentioned, some late games tonight. So might need to take a little pregame nap to be able to stay up for them all. But yeah, I mean, basically what stood out to me a little bit is the Senators are coming in at +130, which is pretty low for the Senators considering, how bad they've been all season, but they're really giving some problems to these Canadian teams. A lot of people are discounting them, and they kind of have a lot of fight. They're playing well they have a young roster, young coach, so they're putting in a good effort this year for sure. So that kind of stood out a little bit, especially since the Canucks won in overtime last game against the Senators. So I thought that was interesting too with the Rangers Flyers tonight. The Flyers won. They won on Monday. We had them, but they didn't make it easy on us, did they? When they were up early, and then the Rangers put 3 unanswered to put them up 1. Then the Flyers tied it late, and then we had to go to the overtime shootout, the whole 9.
That was. I know. Was it last night the Rangers? Kincaid just made like the worst possible move, or was that Monday?
That was Monday.
Oh God, that was bad, man. That was so terrible.
Yeah.
Oof. Anyway.
That was tough. Especially the puck went right across the crease, and he kind of just stood there, which isn't a good look for the goalies. But yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah. I mean, we like those two, and then the Golden Knights are the juiciest one on the slate. They're minus about 230 right now, which it's actually a reasonable price considering how bad the Sharks are this year. But the Sharks do have decent effort once in a while, so you want to be a little wary of that. And 2 Golden Knight players are game time decisions, Tuck and Stevenson, who are some good, like quality middle 6 players in their lineup. So it could hinder their ability to drive offense a little bit.
Yeah, that's one. I mean, minus 225 at the money line. Like, it's hard to just take that money line, right? We either have to go. We went over last show. We got regulation. We can take them -1.5. We can take them, -1. We've been doing that a little bit. I think we've won all those or pushed them, which is exactly.
I think we've I've won 2, and then we pushed the one on the Canucks on Monday. So,
and explain that to people, because when you even brought that up, you put that in. I was like -1, not -1.5, and just explain why the advantage to taking it -1 versus obviously -1.5. That's easy, but also regulation or just a straight money line.
Yeah, so what I've actually seen this year, and shout out to my boy Joey Pucks. He's the one who put me on.
Joey?
He put me onto this. So basically, when you take a team in regulation versus when you take that -1 line, the values end up being pretty similar on the payouts. So from there, your benefit of taking the -1 is essentially you're not going to lose if your team wins in overtime or shootout. You're going to push that bet. But then the con of that side of it is if they win by 1 in regulation, you would win the regulation bet, but you would push again on that -1 bet. So that's kind of where you're hedging your differences a little bit. And obviously the -1 usually pays out, between 50 to 60 points higher than the -1. But still, like, you're really risking, your team only wins by 1 goal. So it's really advantageous to kind of see, average margin of victory on teams, kind of who's good at hitting empty nets, especially in the last 2 minutes. That's something that a lot of people don't really, I feel like, pay enough attention to, is who actually hits these empty nets when they're up a goal late in games. So that's always something I keep an eye out for.
Yeah, and if you took the -1.5, even if you go to overtime, you automatically lose because you only can win by 1. If you only win by 1, you lose that one as well. So there's more ways for you to lose less money. Is that a terrible way to say it? But I think that's kind of like, there's more ways for you to lose less money. And that is what I love about it. Because to me, a push isn't that bad because the money left my account. I saw it, right? Like, my account balance went down and then it comes back. So it's kind of like, I feel like I'm winning a little bit.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of how I get it in my brain.
It's different when you're betting on it with bookies, right? Because you're betting on credit, so you don't necessarily see it back. But when you're on these legal books now with the DraftKings, the FanDuel, it really feels like you're getting a little influx back into your account. You're like, all right, like we got a little money to play with.
Exactly. It feels like a win. Not a great win, but it feels like a win to me. So we went over a little bit of the slate, a couple more games later. We have the Kings and the Blues. Blues are favored 139 to plus 120 for the Kings. We have the Oilies and the Flames. Flames are favored -127 at home. The Battle of Alberta, as Twitter has been calling it a lot lately. We also have that Canadians Jets game. That one's pretty evenly matched. Looks like Jets -105, Canadians -110. I know you got a couple picks for me. I already got them in. It actually looks like that Jets line's moved. So I guess that was like me, you, and the rest of the Win Daily Sports fans. So you want to talk about that one first?
Yeah, sure. I put that one in last night too. What I've been doing now is around when the games end around midnight, I start taking a quick look on the next day, see where I can get some value. And a couple of times I've done that, I've seen the line move between 10 to 20 points in my direction. So really starting to take advantage of that. But yeah, we got the Jets tonight for a couple reasons. One, the Jets and the Canadians played on Monday, and the Canadians won 4-3, 4-2, 4-2. They hit an empty netter. But yeah, so basically these are 2 really evenly matched teams. But the Jets have a couple of my dashboard edges that we talked about earlier on. So the Jets are about +7 units on the money line this year, and the Canadians are -6 units. So it's a 13-unit discrepancy, which I see as a huge, huge dashboard edge. And then similarly, as an underdog, the Jets are about 6 units favored on the money line, and the Canadians are -3 as a favorite. So another reason just to kind of like the Jets. And like I mentioned, looking at their advanced stats, they're two evenly matched teams. And the issue with the Canadians is they aren't able to consistently put strong performances together. So I really see a little regression for the Canadians tonight. The Jets are going with Hellebuck again, who's their starter. Canadians going with Price, who actually started off pretty cold, but has played well lately. But yeah, like I said, evenly matched teams. I like to take the team that lost that first one, and I think the Jets pull it out tonight.
Yeah, I know. I got it over at BetMGM. I think it was a flat +100. So we took it there. So if you have that book, if you don't, make sure to get the promo code Win Daily. That way you get like, I don't know, a bunch of free money because that's all these books do. And it helps us out, which is always nice. But yeah, go check it out. I think FanDuel as well has better odds. I'm looking over here at DraftKings right now. DraftKings has -105 for those Jets. We got a flat +100, which is what you'll love to see. And then talk to me a little bit about that second game that we're enjoying tonight. Which one is it? We got the Battle of Alberta. How could I not? I mean, why is everyone having so much fun with this? I don't see these games because they're so late, but apparently like Twitter loves this shit.
Yeah, so last year is kind of when it perked back up again. So both these teams are in the province of Alberta, which is basically like I would consider it a state relative to the United States. So they're close proximity. And essentially last year, Zach Cassidy and Matthew Tkachuk, they kind of got into it a few times, had some big scraps, started, a bunch of other players on the teams were getting into fights too. So it just blew up. Twitter loves it, obviously. So from there, everyone's kind of just really into this rivalry. It features like two of the best players in the world, and Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. It's much-watched television. Even last game, there was a huge fight. The Flames guy dropped the Oilers guy. He didn't end up returning. I'm pretty sure he got a concussion. So it's some brutal stuff out there, but it makes for great television.
Dude, that guy got knocked out. Yeah, that was... Man, I love hockey. Where are we leaning tonight? What are we taking, Keith? How are you gonna help me make money? Let me know.
Yeah. So similar to the Jets game, I like a nice bounce back tonight. So the Flames ended up winning on Monday. So we like the Oilers to bounce back here for a couple reasons. They've split the matchups this year. They've had 4 matchups. Each team's won twice. And like I said, the Oilers were 2 of the best players in the world with McDavid and Draisaitl. They're both tied for second with 17 goals each. McDavid's first in points with 53. Leon's second with 46. They're first and second in all these advanced stats: wins above replacement, goals above replacement, and standing points above replacement. So they're essentially the 2 best players in the world this year. Edmonton's about a couple units positive on the road this year, and Calgary's -1 unit as a favorite. Edmonton generates more high danger chances and more high danger goals for, which we've talked about a little bit on previous. And then too, Edmonton just has an elite power play. Their special teams is really what's going to put them over the edge. Calgary's penalty kill is a little below average, so we really like the edge on that front.
And did the Flames win the other night?
Yeah, the Flames won 4-3. So I really like that. We're getting plus money too. I think the Oilers, when I locked it in, was around +110.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I see it right now. It's +108 here on DraftKings. Yeah, I think it's a little bit higher over there on BetMGM as well. Shout out BetMGM letting us take their money. But that's it, man. I love it. Is there anything else is there any other dashboard edges? Maybe just a little lean that you're liking? Maybe I can throw half a unit on a bad boy and make my night.
Sure. We got two dashboard edges that haven't been mentioned so far. We could take the Golden Knights money line at -230. A little juicy, obviously. And there's an issue. 2 of their middle 6 forwards might be out tonight, so they might not be driving offense as frequently as they normally do. So that's just something to think about if you're thinking about laying that kind of juice on a team. And then we have the Kings puck line +1.5 at -205 over St. Louis. These 2 teams have played really, really good games this year. They're kind of going back and forth a little bit. And LA's about, is that 17 unit difference on the puck line between LA and St. Louis. So St. Louis is around -13 units on the puck line this year, and LA is around +4. So that's pretty big edge for LA this season.
That is a nice edge. There we go. Let's make some money, people. Keith, where can everyone find you on the internet?
At Keith Cav Jr. on Twitter is where I, give all my insights, my picks, let you guys know what's good, and then answer any questions if anyone wants to shoot me any DMs.
Love it. You can find me at Michael Brazil 1. You can find us at Win Daily Sports. Make sure to check out Keith's locks. I'm sorry. Keith's locks every single day. This dude has been very hot in my bank account and the group chat. Appreciate the hell out of you, Keith. So thank you, everybody. And yeah, let's make it a profitable. What's today? Wednesday. Let's go. Let's get it. Thanks.
St. Patty's Day. Luck of the Irish.
Yeah, let's go.